Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the December 3rd, 2025 Abington Finance Committee meeting. We have a full agenda tonight. We will get an update on where we're at with the budget. We will meet with several department heads. We have Wayne Norling from our IT department. We have Adam Gunn from our Veterans Department, and we have Crystal Cameron from the Water Department. All here to talk to us. We'll actually talk to them first. We're going to take things a little bit out of order tonight. We will check for liaison reports, correspondence, which I did not check. Neither did Abby. Review of minutes. We have no minutes to review. And then discussing our next meeting, which will be next Wednesday. So we're going to kick things right off with Wayne and go over the IT department's budget. How you doing, Wayne?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Wayne, we have a few members that I'm not sure if you've met before, so we'll go around and introduce ourselves to you and to everyone. Start.
Floyd Bartram. This is my first year on the Finance Committee.
Greg, you've met before.
Yes.
Matt.
Yep.
Emily Grozowski.
Abby Gendron.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks. So, like
You don't have to read off. One of the things that I forgot to mention at our last meeting is mission statement achievements and stuff. We have them all printed out. If you want to give highlights, that's great, but you don't have to read what's on the paper.
So, like usual, my budget doesn't change very much. This year, my salary section is just union contract changes and a 2% pay raise. I did put in for my IT assistant again, but
we would love to give that to you.
now I know, but I might as well put it in there.
Yep,
Keep
definitely.
My internet connections, that's all the same as last year. All the phone stuff is all the same. My software licensing, that's increased quite a bit. Vision, the assessor software, that went up quite a bit. And the OpenGov, which is the permitting software for the building department, it's up to 40,000 this year, and then 42 next year, and 45 the next year. So it's going up $2,000 to $3,000 every year. Most of all of it is, the rest of it's all the same, and every other line item is exactly as it was last year.
All right. Anyone have questions for Wayne?
Should you be asking for more money with the sort of state of our technology? Or at least, should people be asking you or you telling us like what these other departments really need in order to talk to each other? And I know that you've done a great job with the numbers and stuff, but like some of the stuff we're still pretty antiquated on, correct?
No.
We're good now?
I'm upgrading everything. I maybe have 10, 15 computers that are on Windows 10, which just expired.
What is Windows 10?
No, sorry. Yeah, no, Windows 10.
Yeah.
The older operating system for your
We're on
computers.
Windows 11, right?
We're on Windows 11 now.
So Windows 10 is the previous
Yeah.
one.
They just expired. And the only thing the only problem with that is you don't get security updates. But it's all just general computers now.
Yep.
My network infrastructure around town, I'm up in the process of upgrading right now. That'll be all done in the next year.
All right, great.
No more extra money. I'm already all set for the new fire station DPW. I already have all that equipment. So we're in
Sweet.
pretty good shape. We're on MFA like the Maya wants. We're doing cyber awareness training for all the employees. So
It's great.
yeah.
I just have one question.
Yep.
Is the difference between the salaries on the level funded versus level service just that assistant, the IT assistant?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And the 2% and the other union stuff, the 2 weeks vacation buybacks. stuff like
Okay.
that. Yeah. Yep.
Can you help Barbara try to get in? I don't know if what I sent her was wrong. Looked like it was right, but Zoom, you never know. So question I had, and it's Crystal's here as well, so it's relevant. Has the water department or any other departments had potential attacks?
No. I use cell phone antivirus, which if you do get a ransomware attack, it shuts it all down within 2 files.
Good.
And I do internally backup.
I was gonna
stuff.
say, what's our backup schedule?
And from once the internal backups are done, it sends an encrypted link to the web with all our backups on the cloud.
Okay,
So
good.
most of our applications are all cloud-based now.
Good.
So it's just file and print, and actually I'm gonna start moving some of that stuff to the cloud too.
Nice. Excellent.
In, just a FYI too, in the next 2 to 3 years, we have to upgrade our phone system in town.
Awesome.
Yeah. The company that we're utilizing now decided they don't want to do phones anymore. So I'm actually looking at cloud-based systems anyways. Yeah.
I remind people all the time, my company's company meeting in January of 1996, they said all of our phones would be going away, everything would be running through our computers. It's still not quite there.
Yeah. Well, we actually, 2 months ago, we upgraded the whole police department
Nice,
to cloud phones.
excellent.
Yeah. And everything.
Yeah.
Literally
Technology,
no problem. It went great.
technology's finally
Yes.
at the place where we can make that happen,
Yep.
so. COVID actually helped that,
Yeah.
kind of pushed things forward,
Yep.
so.
Other questions?
Anyone? Chris, anything?
No, no.
All right, Wayne, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good evening.
Adam, welcome, thanks for
Thank you.
coming.
Where would you like to begin?
Wherever you want to start.
All right. Our mission is to support veterans and spouses of deceased veterans in Abington however we possibly can. The majority of my role is to do VA claims. Currently, in 2025, Abington veterans and widows have received $6,972,730 in compensation this year that's brought to the community from VA claims, veteran pensions, and other pensions. And then we also support low-income clients, and we get reimbursed 75% of whatever the town pays back, comes back to us. I do have a lot of highlights or achievements.
That's from the state?
It is from the Executive Office of Veteran Services.
Is there any reimbursement from the federal level?
Other than the almost 7 million coming from the VA, that would be it.
Is any of that in doubt with the state or the federal?
Not at all.
That hasn't been changing?
Not at this time, no.
All right,
Not
good.
at all. Massachusetts is the only state in the country that requires every city and town to have a veteran service officer and support the low-income staff, and they reimburse the town, and there's no discussion of that going away anytime soon.
Good. Thank you.
We do quite a bit, other than just VA claims. That's all done. I meet with an advisory council on a monthly basis. We have volunteers that man our office 5 days a week that support an incredible amount of projects we do. So I'll just kind of run through some of the projects that we've worked on this year. The Hometown Hero Banner program, which you're slowly seeing signs come up. We have, right now we have 65 hero banners that are being in progress of being put up. We have the Veteran Tax Work-Off program that most of our volunteers use and support our staff, our administrative work, research. We have the Purple Heart street sign toppers. Once I got here, we had 6 Purple Heart recipients that we knew of, and now we have 58. We got funding donated, thanks to Roger Woods, for all the Purple Heart signs that are going up. We have, thanks to Abington Cam and Travis Partington, we have a monthly TV show to help promote outreach and highlight veterans and businesses in Abington that support our veterans and community. We have volunteers that are currently digitizing over 2,500 veteran records in our office. We have a volunteer utilizing the tax work-off program, Eileen Walls. She's cleaning our veteran graves and researching them and being able to take that information and put it on social media for the community to learn about. We have Colvin Landscape and Construction, who does free cleanups for our veterans lot. He also provides our office with a free spring and fall cleanup for a veteran or a spouse of a deceased veteran. We have Yaz's Cafe that hosts a weekly coffee hour on Fridays, free for veterans. She also comes now and supports our Memorial Day and Veterans Day celebration. We have, continuing for our third year in a row, our monthly Veterans Breakfast at Martin's. So far, they've served over 3,500 meals to veterans since 2022. And we now have 5 VSOs that we rotate with on a monthly basis. South Shore Veterans Assistance at no cost continues to support us by providing free ramps for our veterans and widows when they need it. We have our annual Abington Veteran Celebration. This year we had 40 vendors come. We served over 70 veterans and families, or excuse me, 70 veterans. The Current, which is a senior living community in Weymouth, donated food for 80 of our vendors. South Shore Technical High School continues to support us constantly throughout the year. Designing a vehicle wrap, doing business cards, feeding our 70 veterans. Public schools, the students are involved. The Daughters of American Revolution, the Christmas tree that we have in the front of entrance of Town Hall. The Bubble Barge just delivers gifts and meals to veterans. Currently, we have a 2012, that beautiful flag vehicle out in the parking lot. Abington Sunoco took that for 4 months, found the wiring problem, and gave it back to us at no cost again.
Nice.
Where is Abington Sunoco?
Abington Sunoco on the corner of Route 18.
18 and 139.
Oh,
And they've also given out, supported us with numerous veterans and widows who are low income and just took care of their problem at no cost as well. Lowe's has given us over $8,000 in materials and tools and things that we've just handed back over to the community. Miragaza did a Heart Behind a Hero luncheon where we honored 75 widows in Abington who identified themselves through our new census question, are you the spouse of a deceased veteran? And we've been able to connect a lot of them with benefits they weren't eligible for, they didn't know about
They were
before.
eligible for.
We have a Veterans Brotherhood that has provided free oil for numerous veterans in Abington. We've got hundreds of gun locks and safes through a grant. And we added also a Veteran Family Day held at the Knights of Columbus, where we were able to reach more veterans as well. Any questions on kind of the fun highlights of some of the things that our office gets to be a part of?
do we have a count of how many veterans there are?
That's a difficult challenge. Right now, our census survey shows we have around 700.
Okay.
However, what we've learned going through the census survey is that our non-retired veterans haven't been registering, they're not filling out the census survey. So we don't really know a good amount of who we exactly have. We added are you a deceased veteran? Are you the spouse of a deceased veteran? The census survey, we learned that about 74 new widows, they're all widows, of veterans that we were unaware of as well, so people just aren't filling out the census survey.
Okay.
We created a CRM database this year that we're working through the kinks with, but we're now tracking and logging every veteran, that phone calls and people that come in, so hopefully we can continue to identify more and be able to have better outreach with them. Some of the significant changes that we're looking at right now with the free veteran transportation for veterans and spouses of deceased veterans. In June of 2025, we presented to the select board that we are going to raise $75,000 to secure a wheelchair accessible vehicle so we can have free transportation for veterans, spouses of deceased veterans, and Gold Star family members. They were supportive and in favor, once the amount was raised, that we would provide a part-time vehicle driver to operate the program. So far, thanks to the Rotary Club, who's continuing to lead the efforts, we've raised about $33,000 of the goal. And Abington Sunoco has offered to maintain that vehicle at no cost to the town as well, just to help us continue our mission. Adding the part-time van driver and software. Once the funding is completed and the vehicle is secured, we plan to add a minimum wage part-time vehicle driver on July 1st, with the annual cost for wages being $15,600. The software to track and the cell phone maintenance would be a cost of $6,300. And to keep the department level funded during the override, we are making the corresponding decrease in the veterans aid based off of the caseloads and trends that we've had at least over the last 5 years that I've been here. The Veterans Celebration, we're continuing to host our Veterans Celebration we do every year. We normally have around close to 100 veterans that we honor at the Council on Aging at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday. Unfortunately, we're not meeting all the demographics we'd like to. And with the Tri-Town parade that was recently canceled, we're looking to move over to our own Abington celebration in the future and move what we've currently been doing to a Sunday so we can reach more veterans and continue honoring them and providing them with benefits that they're aware for. We did decrease the current budget for that by $2,000, just trying to really look at what we're spending and cut corners where we can. But with the support of the community, we really do think we can still continue that tradition in honoring our veterans, but still decreasing the money. Hillside Cemetery, since Town of Abington now assumed responsibility for Hillside Cemetery. DPW is, as we know, overworked and they do what they can, but they could not guarantee how often they could do that. Reached out to multiple landscaping companies, and we found one that is directly next door to the cemetery, so it's very convenient. Their proposal was extremely low of $3,240, and that would cover spring, fall cleanups, and 8 cuttings throughout the year. That would relieve DPW of trying to maintain the cemetery. That was significantly cheaper than anywhere else. And again, we decreased the veterans aid to compensate for that so we could stay level funded. Going with that, added a graves officer stipend for myself. There's a lot of responsibility that goes with overseeing graveyard. That equates to about 8 hours a month for me, which is low as I could possibly justify for myself, given our future state. Any questions on any of that at all?
I think it was touched on in, I think it was the Miragazza thing with the, or the spouses. One of the things that we talked about when you first came on was trying to really help the veterans and the spouses of veterans in town to know what they were eligible for. It seems like you've been really doing a good job of getting that information out there. Is that still a big challenge, or are we a little more saturated with knowledge on
We are
that?
the first town that I know has done something quite like this, where we added that question on the census survey. My coworker, Lisa McGovern, had a huge part in kind of putting that together, and we called it the Heart Behind the Hero Luncheon, where we reached out to the 75 widows of deceased veterans. Right now, I'm forgetting how many we had. A good number of them came out to the event. It was incredible. We connected a handful of them with benefits that they were not available, or they were not eligible for, didn't know they were eligible for to begin with. So that was extremely successful. And we, after that happened, we had many more that reached out and said, I didn't know.
Yeah.
People aren't marking the census survey, so we'd love to continue doing that. You guys, they gave us a significantly decreased price in order to be able to do that there, and supported us. And it was, yeah, it was,
Because one of the things that has been eye-opening to me working on this committee is how many veterans don't know what benefits are out there available to them. So the outreach that you've been doing is really important.
It is. We still see a lot of Vietnam veterans, at least on a monthly basis, who come in and, their spouse dragging them in for hearing loss. And we find out there's so many more things that they are eligible for. It's life-changing for them.
Yeah.
Same thing with the spouses. After the veterans have passed, they come into our office not knowing where to turn or what to do, and that's what we're here for. And, if somebody dies of a service-connected disability, the widow's property taxes are wiped clean, and it's life-changing. And they also receive a monthly stipend of a little over $1,600. So those two things combined really help make their life manageable after a loss like that.
Have you been noticing that spouses are coming to you when they're deep in need, or when they're starting to find out that there is a need that they need to be met?
A lot of it is word of mouth. Honestly, the community as well. We just work together well. Once you help one person, they talk, and the word gets out there. Sometimes there's desperate need. We've got a lot of generous donors to our Veterans Discretionary Fund, so we have a lot more capability and flexibility to do things that other towns can't because of that. Whether it's a tree that fell down in our backyard, or somebody who's sleeping on the floor, and we get them a mattress and a bed delivered to their house. It's pretty incredible to be able to just, and thank you, Scott, for fully supporting, everything with that.
As far as the van goes, we've got the senior center has a van, we want a van. Is there any way to combine these things, and whether it's, the drivers, or not necessarily, maybe the van, but not?
There's not with the Council on
Has there
Aging.
been conversations along that line, I guess?
So the Council on Aging got their van. I think Amy applied for a grant 2 years ago, and they have a full schedule of things that they do. It's incredible. From shopping trips, weekly shopping trips, to picking residents up and bringing them to the luncheons every week. They are fully engaged in driving the community.
It's a very different vehicle too.
It is.
The van that
Okay,
he needs and what he's using is significantly different. The senior center van is much larger and made for, more like a bus, more, with
Yeah,
stops and
right,
things like
yeah.
that.
We're looking at a Chrysler Pacifica wheelchair accessible vehicle that has a ramp that goes out. There's no passenger seat. There's a bucket seat, and there's a back for a family member who needs to come along possibly. And we're looking at a minimum wage driver. We've already had people come up and question them, but when is that coming out? And being a 19 and a half hours, the plan would be to provide one ride per day. So we could help one veteran or spouse of a deceased veteran per day and get them to their appointment and back safely. And that would be too hard to juggle with Council on Aging van.
What's the van might be weird, but what's the van that's outside?
So that is a
Oh, that's your van.
2012.
All right.
It's the
That
Abington
is.
Sunoco.
The only reason that I know that those are, so I know the person who made those, and that's it, so they, yeah.
So we got
created
that.
it. It's actually pretty cool. There's a lot of them are cabs, but.
It is. We got that donated. 2 years ago from the town of Rockland. There was a wiring problem. They were looking to raise $16,000. When they went out to raise that money, somebody learned about what they were trying to do and wrote them a check for $68,000 and gave them a brand-new vehicle.
Oh.
I just happened to show up shortly after in the parking lot, and I was like, that's what we need, mentor me. And he was like, actually, we're trying to give this away. It's thanks to Abington Sunoco, who came in, he said, we'll take it.
Yeah, they're great.
And they took it for 4 months. And there was another problem with it where it was leaking oil. He said, well, I'm not giving up, Adam, and he took it again. He found a used part and fixed it. It's just not reliable enough to be able to
Yeah.
safely transport our veterans. So right now, it's a cool looking vehicle. We get a lot of comments on it, but it just can't fulfill the purpose of what we're trying to do safely and getting our veterans out there, because if the window breaks, they're not made anymore.
Yeah, no,
It's great. It's only got 19,000 miles. We had great goals in doing this, but it's not reliable enough. It could be great for a backup, you know, if we had, the vehicle needed to be in the shop or get something done, or it would be a great backup vehicle. And he's supporting us with that at no cost as well, but just can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is, for anybody watching, if you're ready to come write a check and buy the van for the Veterans Department, come talk to Adam.
The Rotary Club is spearheading this.
They are. Again, we're at 33,000. We actually had Blue Collar Customs came out and offered to fully wrap the vehicle and help design that a little further for us at no cost. So we may have our $80,000 goal short a little bit, down to 75, and we're at 33 right now, so we still have a little ways to go. But thanks to the Rotary Club, we've got a lot of great ideas, and we're
That's
reaching
great.
out to a lot of nonprofits, and we're gonna find a way to bring this to Abington.
It's great. I just don't want Abington people showing up by Rockland people, so. Other questions for Adam? Abby, anything?
No?
Adam, we appreciate the time. Thank you very much for all that you do and for coming and talking to us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Grateful for the support of the community and all the volunteers that help everything make possible. Thank you.
Right. Quickly moving on, we have the head of our Abington Rockland Joint Waterworks Department,
Hi,
Crystal. Welcome.
thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
You getting used to these now?
Yeah,
This is
of
what,
course I am.
number 3 or 4?
I do two.
Matt, just let you know that I am in and I heard Adam's presentation. Just wanted to make sure you guys knew I was here.
Excellent. Good to have you here, Barbara.
I do two every year, so one for Abington, one for Rockland, so, yeah. It's a good time.
Only topped by South Shore Low Tech, who does.
9, something like that.
Right?
It was 8, now it's 9 towns.
Maybe one more coming.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Do you want me to just go ahead and start?
Yeah.
All right.
As I mentioned, you can go through whatever you want from
Okay.
from your stuff, whatever highlights you want to touch on, or right to your budget.
All right.
We'll
mission
take it at
really-
your pace.
Yeah,
So-
mission really hasn't changed at all. So I'll skip over that and just kind of roll with achievements. Everybody in this room and probably in both towns at this point are well aware of the PFAS project. I'm super happy to report that we are 75% through both Rockland and Abington with the PFAS projects. And that's just basically with spending. That's how we gauge the project progress. So we're doing really well. I have a little something to show you at the end, which, I think I've come for a few years now just talking about it. So now I'm going to show you some
Excellent.
some good stuff on it. So we'll kind of graze over that really quick. We did an M36 audit, and we were awarded a $50,000 grant for that. An M36 audit allows us to kind of button up the system, if you will, try to track down any unaccounted for water that we're not getting to people's houses. So any kind of leaks that are, not surfacing, anybody actually stealing water, it helps us figure out some things like that. Water main breaks, things like that. Water meters that maybe are not accurate, and we need to focus on replacing those. So that was super helpful and a really great achievement that we were able to get done. We also completed an asset management grant. I kind of look at it in legs. So the first leg of that grant we did for the horizontal assets, and I'm sorry, the first one was vertical assets. So in the treatment plants, what can we, keep track of? What do we need to get on the shelf? Things like that. How do we value that stuff? And then the next leg we're going for is another $50,000 grant for the water mains and the distribution system. So that'll be a really great project to complete and wrap up in the end. And I'm sorry, I really sound like trash, but I caught my daughter's cold, so bear with me. We were awarded a $5,000 safety grant for the treatment, so I kind of go back and forth between distribution, which is the street crew. We'll do a safety grant. I think, Scott, you do the same thing. Well, not with street crew, but with this grant. The last grant we did was for the street. This year we're doing treatment, and we actually were awarded that, so that's fantastic. We're going to do some improvements with safety for that, with sludge basins and just elevated storage tanks, and just making sure our employees are safe and we're doing things correctly. We are in the process of cleaning all of our storage tanks, both above ground and elevated and below ground. That'll help with bacteria hits, which I'm sure everybody's aware that we had an issue with that. So we are doing it a little earlier than it's required, but I don't think that there's anything wrong with that at all. So we're going to be wrapping that up for the most part at the end of the year, early 2026. So that'll be fantastic to have a nice squeaky clean storage tank system. We finally appropriately staffed our system. So clerical's fully staffed, treatment's fully staffed. We did some promotions for supervisory roles with a new primary operator, 2 new chief operators. We were running short with all of those things because we had a lot of junior operators and things like that in the system. So we did some great promotions and hires. I am losing my executive administrator at the end of this year, early 2026. So we promoted within, and that position was already filled too. So her position. So we're rolling pretty well. 2 things I did not add on this, but I just want to mention because it was kind of more recent achievements that we did. We did work with the Abington Planning Department to help secure a Mass Works grant application for the Central Street water main right in front of the new project. So that was fantastic. We landed a $1 million grant for that replacement. So that was a water main that really needed some work. It was more or less, it's in a really bad area, so it's actually, the outside of it's worse than the inside, believe it or not. So it's probably water table and some other things that are contributing to the breaks. So replacing that and actually wrapping it the right way, so to prevent that from happening again, is a great project to get done. So we worked with Liz and got that done. And then we just recently submitted for a drought resiliency and water efficiency grant for $50,000. So hopefully if that's awarded, I'll have some good news for you next year. But that'll be for some hydrant monitors. So you can put them into, it's really neat devices that you can put into hydrants that will actually let you know if there's a water main break that's not surfacing. So that'll help our unaccounted for water. And we'll actually be able to plan and get on those water main breaks before they become an issue, and try to time it better too. So that'll cut down on overtime and things like that. And it will actually help improve safety. So that's great. Goals are just, we're gonna continue working on getting those water meters out. The more that they're accurate, the more revenue we bring in, and it's, accurately dealing with consumption in people's homes and letting us know what's going on, and so we can address that. We are definitely replacing a lot of hydrants in the system, so you'll see that out there. The guys out there working on the hydrants a lot. We are going to continue to focus on communication with the residents, education, more specifically the PFAS. Our website has a ton of information on PFAS if people are interested in learning more about that. It's arjww.org, and if you go to the Your Water tab, it'll have a PFAS spot right there, and you can go and it tells you the funding, it tells you the schedule, it has pictures of the project, which I'll show you today. And all kinds of neat stuff, letting you know what's going on. And of course, the PFAS results. Let's see. We are going to continue to investigate. We're working with Rockland as well for another source of water so that we can be a little bit more comfortable during drought, and also encourage responsible development for the towns to get some more tax revenue. Because without the water, you really can't develop. So it's kind of a little double-edged sword there. And then, the piping and the distribution system, I think. We were, focusing on that and the tanks, replacing a tank in Rockland before PFAS came around. And the way I think of it is it swept the leg and just pretty much pushed everything out of the way and said, I'm taking over. So now, once we complete this project, we're going to go back to where we were focusing on, which is replacing water mains, which will improve water quality in the system, replacing the storage tank that desperately needs to be replaced, which not only, stores water in Rockland, but it does feed to Abington on occasion as well. So, and then continue to do well with managing the PFAS treatment project once it's online. So just some highlights with the budget for Abington. I do have 3 budgets, but Rockland Joint and Abington. For the specific Abington budget, the highlights that I have is I had to increase for police details. I went from 10,000 to 14. We have water main breaks, gates we need to fix, service leaks, things like that. Hydrants, we have to have a detail. So that's really kind of rate driven. And then the increases for the intermunicipal agreement, which is the joint budget. So Abington pays currently 47% of that intermunicipal agreement, and Rockland pays 53%, and that's based on consumption. So say hypothetically, Abington residents used more water than Rockland, it would kind of flip. And we do that calculation every year to make sure that that's accurate. And that agreement, that's where all of the health insurance, contractual raises, things like that go on. Loans are paid out of there, well, actually, the loans come out of each town, but you'll see that I did kind of adjust the PFAS loan payment because I was every year putting in money for the PFAS loan to see how it would affect the budget, because I didn't want it to just sneak up and us not be prepared for that payment. So I did kind of adjust that down because we didn't borrow as much as we expected, which was great. So that was a little bit of a change for the positive. And an increase for indirect costs, for Abington. It's what we pay the town hall, people like Andrew and Treasurer Bean, things like that, to do business for us. So that was a little bit of an increase, but other than that, it wasn't too much of an increase for the budget for the water department. These are just, some of the charges that the water department has. The first column, or I should say row, is the water use. That's just your normal rates. A lot of residents, a lot of people don't realize that the water department is not general funded. It's not funded by taxes. So when people pay their water bills, that's what funds the water department. So this $4 million coming in is paying our bills, keeping the water department running. The next line is backflows, sprinklers, final reads, things like that. And then obviously the next few rows our lines are, pretty self-explanatory, just liens. One of the last ones, 1, 2, 3, 4 from the bottom is systems development. That's, taps. If someone wants to put in a single family home or a business or something like that and they want to tap into the water system, there's a fee for that. underneath that is mitigation fees, so that's conservation. And then the joint works is Rockland pays, so Rockland collects anything that the joint customers pay for their water receipts. And then Rockland will pay their portion back to Abington of the joint receipts. It's kind of a weird accounting thing, but it's done pretty well. And then the last one is pretty self-explanatory with interest on that, so. Any questions? So I'm just sort of ripping through it.
Is these increases in development, it looks great, oh, our revenue's up, but the expenses go along
Absolutely.
right with it, right? Yeah.
So electricity's
It's not
up.
like we get an extra profit.
No. Electricity's up through the roof for us. Chemical costs are through the roof for us to clean the water. I mean, any kind of piping that we have to buy or fittings that we have to buy are through the roof. Everything has just gone sky high.
But specifically, this development,
This
there's an
development is-
offsetting,
No. That is what I really use to,
right, that's
fund
right.
I use that for funding our articles usually.
Yeah.
It goes right into the reserve and we end up funding like projects and like hydrants
Yeah.
and water meters and things like that.
Okay.
So, we're not just, profiting from that, no. These are all the next
I had a
couple-
question.
Sure.
Oh, sorry, Crystal.
No, go ahead.
Just something you had said, do people actually steal water? Do you catch people stealing water?
We sure do.
And how?
Really?
Yes.
I was wondering
That's
the same
so
thing.
I've been here a long time. That's the first time. I've never thought of that before.
Mm-hmm.
Never thought of it. So just, yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much I
And
want to
how
get
do
into
you-
specifics
No,
and like
no, don't.
explain how it's done, but we have a system now, a brand new system.
Maybe explain the ways that you're catching people.
We can, so.
Yeah, how you're catching them, not how they're doing it.
We can catch, with this new system that we have, it's called an MRX system, and it, like, say, in your house,
Maybe don't explain it.
Yeah, maybe not. Well,
Why-
we can
why-
catch flow reversals, so if something funky is going on in your home and something's happened, funky with your meter, I should say, we can catch that. Our system
Okay.
will flag it and pick it up, and then we'll have to go and investigate it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
there's
be
been
it known,
several.
if you're stealing water, we are
We
gonna.
will find out, yeah.
Yes, we can.
It's, yeah.
Very good.
We've had at least, not too many since we've had this, system. Thankfully, that's great that people are being honest, but at least maybe 5 to 10 that we've caught between the two towns.
Wow.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Huh. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The next couple pages are just like our fees and stuff. I don't know, we really don't know. Nothing's really changed with that. But if
Rates-
anybody has any
Rates
questions.
the same.
The rate is the same, yep. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer those. And so the changes from FY '26 to FY '27, like I mentioned, was just the intermunicipal charges between, in the joint budget. So it's just really health insurance and things like that, like, contractual stuff. And so it's only really gone up for the Abington budget about $107,000 this year. I've tried to keep it as low as I could.
And again, so that people who are listening, people who are newer, know, all of that is covered by the fees.
All of it is covered
And
by the rate paid, yep, by the water bills.
The income that you take in, it's
Yep.
not coming out of the general fund budget for the town.
It is not, nope.
However, it's also not available, any overages for the water department are not available to the town to use for other
Correct,
purposes.
yep.
It's specifically designated just for the water.
We are an enterprise account, correct.
So the town could not use that if it wanted to.
Right. Just also want to mention with the PFAS, situation that Abington and Rockland are not the only communities dealing with this type of situation. So it's actually worldwide. It's in so many things. And I know I'm probably like a broken record to everybody, but it's in so much stuff I guess for lack of a better term, that I think it's really opening up, you know, officials' eyes and having everybody realize what's really going on. And I think it's a good thing. So originally, these levels of PFAS that we had to meet for regulations were, you know, it was at 70 parts per trillion. And when we were testing for that, we were meeting that regulation. But in 2020, the Mass DEP dropped the regulation. So if you're meeting the federal regulation, they're fine with that, but every state can be more strict than the feds. And that's what the state of Massachusetts decided to do. And they dropped it to, in 2020, to 20 parts per trillion. And if removing PFAS, if you don't have the special kind of treatment to remove PFAS, you have to go out and you have to design a treatment plant, get the engineering, and actually construct the treatment plant removal system, which is what happened to Abington Rockland. You know, when I first heard of this stuff, I was like, we remove viruses, bacteria, we should be fine. And the engineers were like, nope, surprise, you have to get this special, you know, removal system, and we ended up doing that. So we actually, Abington Rockland Joint Water, tested earlier than most departments around us because we wanted to be first in line to get the devices that we needed because we knew there was going to be a high demand for this stuff. The filter vessels, the media, things like that, the construction companies. There are some departments, not to put anybody down, it's your choice, their choice, whatever, that are just starting to design and get into this now. So we're almost done.
Yeah.
I'm actually happy to report that we'll most likely have the PFAS portion of the treatment plant online for removal by the end of the year.
And that will work out for all of the water in Abington.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you know, the whole project itself should be done by the summer. But I mean, that's all just little things like, you know, electrical things and, you know, SCADA problems, which is like computer, just working out the bugs and glitches and things like that. You know, I can't foresee any issues coming in the future. So if something does happen and does set it back, the schedule, then, you know, we might be looking into 2026 very early, getting the system online. But our goal is by the end of December to have that up and running. So we're really excited about that.
So while we're talking on that, just a couple of things to clarify, especially for those newer people, for those watching this from home. Anytime we have a test that does not meet the state level, regardless of where that water is going in the system, you have to send, is it 2 tests that you have to send a notice to everybody?
So, yeah, it goes on a quarterly average. So if we fail that quarterly average, we have to send out the notices to everyone.
So the notice goes to everyone regardless of who's getting the
Yep.
water that's actually
Correct.
affected.
Because hydraulics, if, God forbid, something happened, and hydraulically, I can say that, you know, there's a very good, strong chance that the town of Abington and most of the residents do not get the water from Hannigan Water Treatment Plant in Rockland, which is the one in question. We already have PFAS removal in place at Myers Ave right now. It was a really quick fix. It was easy to, you know, install this at the groundwater treatment plant. The Hannigan one is a surface water treatment plant, so it's a little bit more complex to retrofit. So, you know, most residents don't get that water, but hydraulically, if something happened, like a huge water main break, a huge fire, something like that, that pulled the water in a different direction, the Mass DEP wants everybody to understand what's going on, what potentially the water you could be getting. So that's why they ask us to send it out to everybody.
Yep. And then over the past several years, when we have had to send those notices out, the amount that we have missed the mark by is still significantly under the federal EPA level.
That's
correct.
Yeah.
So
it's unfortunate, but it's something that needs to be, you know, it's an expense that ABROC has to deal with, but it's something that needs to be done. It's necessary. It's clear that you don't see this type of movement from a department like the Mass DEP unless it's something that needs to be addressed. So yeah, I agree with them. So I'm glad we did what we did and moved
Yep.
it as fast as we did.
So knocking on wood, come 2026 quarterly tests, we shouldn't
We shouldn't.
be having any problems.
I
We
think
shouldn't
there's
be
no
seeing
setbacks on
those,
the
seeing
schedule.
those, seeing those notices going out to town.
It would be
But
great, and it would be great for the department to also not have to, upset people and mail out those,
Yep.
it's almost $10,000 every single time we have to mail those out. It would be great to save that and put that money towards something that we could do to improve the water for the towns, instead of mailing out the postcards. So we're looking forward to getting this system online for multiple
Yes.
different reasons.
I bet.
Definitely.
So, but most importantly,
And it's been a
to make
long,
people
it's been a
happy.
long time
It's
and
been
a long project.
ride, yeah.
So-
It has.
And there's no way to have an option to opt out of the mailing of it and having
There is
emailed?
absolutely no way. Trust me, we've tried.
Yeah,
Well, not
that's a-
tried, but
it's a
we've
state
looked
mandate.
into different ways. The postcard was probably the best solution, rather than a full-page
Yeah, sure.
mailer, which is one of the ways we had to go in the very beginning when I had to end up, when I was assistant super, I had to write up all of the public education, which is what they start with. So you have like phases of these mailers. Public education was first, then you start with the notices. And the notices at first were full pages, and that costs a lot too. And then we were able to move to the postcard with a bit.ly scan, and it will bring you right to the website. Yeah, so that was,
Like, I know this is gonna sound crazy, but
No.
it will.
it probably won't.
But
It's Greg, it
couldn't you
might.
do like a business card? I'm just trying to think of how you guys can save as much money as possible to put it towards the stuff that matters.
I don't know that the Mass DEP would let that fly. They proofread, and they do a very good job of proofreading the education and the education in the beginning, but the mailers, and anything that's not there, anything they want worded differently, they tell us we have to change it. So if there was a way we could do that, I mean, maybe I'll see. That's a good idea.
Because you are using a code, a little
We're
thing
using
on
a
there,
bit.ly,
so.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot.
Postcard, like the cheapest rate out there as it is.
Is it? I just know a business card's
I think
smaller.
it's small.
It's smaller, but I think that the cheap bulk rate for a postcard is probably.
It might be.
It might
Probably
be.
the same rate.
I don't mail anything, so I have no idea.
I wish I knew.
So, yeah, I mean, we've tried our best to conserve so we can put our efforts and the money towards, improving water quality in other ways too, so, yeah.
And hopefully it won't be an issue.
Crystal, I have one more question.
Sure.
Just,
Talk to Andrew about
how do you address, or when, I see a lot of people saying that the Abington water that they're paying for water that's undrinkable and unusable. How do you respond to that? Do you have a lot of people calling and complaining about that? Like, how are you?
If people have issues with their water, whether it be taste and odor or, the color of the water, if it's dirty. We live, if you think about it, we were the first area in the country to be settled, so therefore the first infrastructure probably and things like that. So you're talking a super old aging infrastructure, and we're doing the best we can with the funding that we have. However, we have ways of addressing people's infrastructure or, the infrastructure of your home too. So you're talking your service line that connects to a water main. We can address that and help you out too. So call the water department. We can send texts out to your home. We can flush your service line. We can take samples and see, okay, these metals are high. Let's do a service line flush. Let's test it afterwards, see the improvement. You could have a water leak that you don't know about. It could be something else. But when it comes to the PFAS, if you're wondering where your water comes from, call the water department. We have a team of people that call people back, that talk to people about PFAS, and we can tell you if you're getting the water from the Hannigan Water Treatment Plant, and if you should not be worried, if you should be concerned about the levels of PFAS and your source of water. We also have water at the office that you can come and get for free during this time. So, I mean, I know it's inconvenient, but I wouldn't necessarily do that from Abington if I lived in Abington, because the water in Abington is hydraulically the same at the water department. But if you feel that you'd like to do that, you're more than welcome to.
As someone who has called the water
So people should
department,
call the water department.
Yes.
I
If
recommend
they have
it.
concerns, and you guys are on top of addressing all of that.
Yep.
Better to call you than to post it on social media.
They will send people to your house. They will email you information they find. They will call you back. They're a great department to call. So
Thank you.
highly recommend.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Crystal.
No problem. Thanks, Barbara. Does anybody have any questions about the budget, anything?
Do you want to do show and tell first?
I
or do you
will,
want- or
sure.
Do you want to talk about warrant articles? Do you know about warrant articles yet?
I don't yet. I have some ideas, but I don't have them completely done yet.
Okay,
but,
so we'll do show and tell.
Sure.
I like stories.
So this is just a little bit more,
Bless you.
about the
Puzzle mask.
PFAS project. All of this is on the website, aside from the last pictures, but they will be very soon. So these, hopefully the resolution will be a little bit better, or will be good. So this is the Myers Ave Water Treatment Plant in Abington. So the front building is the existing building now, and the back building is the addition for the new PFAS treatment plant. Just a little visual. This is the Hingham Street Water Treatment Plant. The first three filters are the GAC filters, or granular activated carbon. That's going to take the brunt of the water and take everything out. And then the polishers are going to be followed with the 6 resin ion exchange vessels. So the whole idea of this project was to make sure that if the state or the feds decide that they're going to change the regulations again, we will be able to meet the regulations with those 6 ion vessels followed. And you'll see, I'll show you on the next pictures, the building itself is designed for it to be expandable. So if we have to, add more, we can. So this is Hannigan Water Treatment Plant in Rockland. This was in 2024, in May. We were pouring the footings for the new PFAS filter. So the original building's in the back, or across the street from it, and we just basically tore up the parking lot and the grass to put the new building. The reservoir's in the background. Here's a vessel that got delivered in August of 2024. That's one of 3 GAC vessels. It was pretty neat to watch them get delivered. That's another same pictures. And so this is the pipings getting installed for the vessels. And here you'll see the 6 ion exchange are getting delivered after that. So this was about a month later they came in. And these were the vessels that we were afraid were going to be really hard to get our hands on. So that's why we started doing the testing and the project earlier than most departments.
How long do they last?
The vessels themselves or
Yeah.
the media inside? The media is going to depend on the load rate, so how fast you're flowing the water through it and the concentration of PFAS. So Myers Ave, we've already had GAC in that one of the filters there. It's taking the entire treatment plant through it. You'll see the next, well, if you noticed in that schematic, the Hannigan one has 3 GAC filters. Myers Ave has 2, because it's a smaller groundwater treatment plant, so we'll be able to disperse the water through that a little bit better, and that media should last longer, but it's lasted over a year now. So it's gonna be a yearly expense to change that media out, so that, the vessels themselves, I'm not entirely sure, but the life of the project is about 20 to 25 years. The useful life. Here is the building being built over the vessels in Rockland. It's kind of like one of those soccer domes, if you will, but it's definitely something that can be expanded if we needed it to, which is what we wanted, just in case. And you see all the valves and all that. There's all this, they're all auto valves, so they're all, really neat manufacturing and technology.
That's a lot of wheels.
So this here is not PFAS related, so what we decided was if we're gonna do a big project like this and have SRF funding at 0%. We're gonna try to take advantage of what we can get, with this project. So inside that treatment plant, there is a filter. It's called an automatic backwash filter. We call it ABW. That's the main filtering that we use at both of the surface water treatment plants, the one in Pembroke and in Rockland. We only have one filter at Hannigan. Something goes wrong with that filter, the whole treatment plant has to go down. There's no redundancy at Hannigan. It was built in 1974. So, I mean, what we've always talked about since I started here, back in 2003 or 4, was to have redundancy in another filter. It was like one of the dreams that we all wanted. So here we are now finally installing a second filter at Hannigan for redundancy, and it's working out great. That right there, those are the filter cells, we call them, and there's a bridge that that runs over it and will backwash each one of those cells. So the filter itself does not have to go offline. You can still clean water as the filter's being cleaned itself.
Nice.
Which is great. And there is the building itself being put together. This is Abington. In 2025, we have the Myers Ave treatment plant, like I said, is a groundwater treatment plant. And when we backwash those filters, which are all vessels, they're all there. It's different from the technology you saw. We pull water back from the system, and then we backwash the filters. It causes disturbance no matter what. So it's almost like we are flushing, and the people in the area, they can experience brown water from that sometimes. The system's very used to it happening, so it doesn't happen very often. But if we shut that treatment plant down for maintenance and then we fire it back up and start backwashing, it's the same thing like flushing, and then everybody, gets brown water. So our idea was, let's put in a backwash tank and a clear well where we store the water and we pull the water back from the tank rather than disturbing the system every single time we backwash. And that tank will slowly fill rather than rapidly pulling 980 to 1,000 gallons a minute back from the system to backwash the filters. So that, I believe, is just the backwash, controls, and the backwash tank itself is that big black tank, which is pretty neat. That was something that we've always talked about since I started here too. This is the PFAS building being put together behind Myers Ave. So that'll house 2 GAC filters that are much bigger than the Hingham Street ones, but still can handle a great amount of water flow. The building's coming along nicely. And this was fantastic to watch. I guess residents were peeking out, watching it. The vessel's being delivered down the street, and then the next picture will show the crane, I believe. So the crane lifting them up and over the building and then putting it in the building was pretty neat. And that's how they were able to get it in. And then those are the two GAC filters in the back. And we ended up doing a new well house in the bottom, kind of right there, and there's another well house down there that will need to be demolished and rebuilt as well. And then now those are the valves for the filter vessels. And this is all automatic, so everything's controlled. When you brought up IT, we're a huge target when it comes to stuff like that, cybersecurity and things like that. If anybody hacked our system, they could control that. So we got really good scores with the federal government on our IT. So the last thing we would want is for anybody to be able to take control of our system. So that is the PFAS project. There's been some more developments, but I just don't have pictures from the engineers to kind of show you. But for the most part, that's where we stand right now. A lot of the stuff right now isn't as fantastic to look at. It's more like, electrical work and plumbing and computer work. So it's not really much to take pictures of. But the next is, I know I talk a lot about conservation and water reservoir levels and things like that. The next pictures, they're kind of disturbing. So this is the Hannigan Water Treatment Plant reservoir. You'll see at the back, that's the PFAS building that we were just looking at, the bubble, soccer bubble one. So if you look at the pictures here, the reservoir, you can see where the water was and now is not. So this is what we call the old res because it was the original res. We have an expansion at Hannigan that the water department did. I believe it went online almost a year after I started, so right around 04, 05, maybe 06, that we put the new reservoir expansion online, which gave us even more water. You'll see that too. This is the same, that's the treatment plant over there in the back. You'll see, so that's the back res there, and this is the old res here. We, like us as operators, we will look at rocks and things like that, and that'll be our landmarks of, oh geez, the res is really going down. That rock in the middle is one of our landmarks, and usually it's almost fully submerged. There's just the tip out, so the fact that you can see the entire rock, you can see the outfall structures from the new res to the old res. I mean, it's not connected anymore. That's how low we are right now. This was just taken at the end of October. So this is current situation, if not worse, where we stand right now.
Where is it fed from?
It's spring fed. This is the back res. You can walk across it. That's why we get nervous during this time of year. We don't get snow and we're dealing with this and it refills, but we want to be ahead of this.
We need precipitation.
We absolutely do. It's makes you really nervous. All of this land is underwater on a normal, everyday basis. It's disturbing. You can see all that ledge that you can walk straight across. This is in Rockland. Then I believe the next picture might be Great Sandy Bottom. Nope, that's still Rockland. This is Great Sandy Bottom. So this is our powerhouse. This is our workhorse. We pump water all the way from Pembroke down, and this is what feeds Abington. This is what we call the cove as operators. It's usually completely full. It's completely cut off at this point now. This one actually does have way more water in it. So the Hingham Street Reservoir at this time had about 26 million gallons left. That's it. And Sandy Bottom, which is this, has about 156 million left in it. This is another look at the cove. You'll see the treatment plant in the background. That's a sludge lagoon. We have 2 of them there, but all of that grass, all of those reeds, they're all usually underwater. If you look in the background, that's Furnace Pond. That's not a drinking water reservoir. So you can see the difference between, and they're not even declaring drought right now. So this is just use alone.
Yeah.
Granted, we did have a little bit of a drought, during the summer and things like that, but this is pretty significant. And this is what we see every year, which is why it's really important that we find another source to help supplement. If it doesn't need necessarily to come in and take over, but it needs to at least be either an emergency source, supplement a little bit, and because we want to continue to develop to get revenue for the towns, but we can't do it if this is what we're looking at. So that peninsula there is usually never out of the water, and this is our workhorse. So
How do you find another source?
we could either look in our system for areas of, to drill wells and things like that, which I don't think we have that kind of capability right now. And the other would be to talk to other water departments to see if they want to sell us water. So that'd be another expense for the water department.
We've talked, and I don't know how much even Abby, but definitely not Emily or Floyd know, we've talked when the Union Point people have come and talked to us. Their primary obstacle for any development that goes there is water. Because there just isn't enough water. And they've been talking to MWRA, they've been talking about trying to pipe water down from the North Shore.
That is the solution for a lot of water departments is MWRA. It's just waiting for it to happen is the
It's
conflict
been,
I think we all.
it's been talked about
Yes.
since I started on the committee. So it's definitely, and I know we've worked with Brockton over the years to increase the amount of the water capacity at different points, but it's definitely a limiting factor. The South Shore in general doesn't have a lot of water. It's I grew up on the North Shore. I'm used to rivers everywhere, and
Right.
water is abundant, and the South Shore doesn't have a lot of water. It's
Right.
just a different landscape.
I think right now we're
Waterscape.
we're doing some studies right now. We're working with other towns to see what we can come up with. It's the cost with MWRA, they're waiving some fees now, but it's not gonna last. And then there are other fees that we're up against, that we would have to, discuss. MWRA is definitely a great solution. And then, Brockton would definitely be a good idea, if they were willing to have discussions. There's some avenues we are exploring. There definitely has to be something done in order to allow the towns to grow responsibly.
How much of this shortfall that you showed us is overuse, if you will? We're using more and more. And how much is environmental, that we're not getting as much rain? Or
It's probably a combination of
Is that
both.
a reasonable question to ask?
Oh, yeah, it's probably a combination of both. And that's where, our job is really tough, because we have to balance consumption with conservation. And, consumption is where we fund our water department, how we continue to be able to do what we need to do. And at the same time, if we throw water bans on all the time, we're not gonna get those rates that we need to in order to operate. However, if we don't throw the water bans on, we're ending up looking like this. So that's why I know a lot of people complain about the water bans, but that's why. We're not crying wolf, and it's just a balancing act, and you gotta be responsible with it. And you have to listen to the state when they're declaring drought. There's a lot of things that we have to listen to our permit. I think one thing that we developed was a really responsible way of calculating how much water we have left to give developers. So we have something called a water bank now, that if you were to add a bedroom to your home, I would remove 110 gallons from my water bank
Yep.
for that one bedroom. That's Title V flow. It's kept now tighter as far as that type of calculation, whereas I feel like before it might have been a little bit looser, because we had more water then. And now that with all this development and growth, I think it's something that we need to really pay attention to, especially when there's drought that's lurking about. Yeah. Any other questions?
Questions for Crystal?
Can I circle back to something we talked about previously?
Sure.
So I know you send out the mailings when the bad tests or whatever. Do you get to send out a celebratory mailing when the project's done?
Oh, you try. There will be something done, yeah.
Okay.
There'll be multiple things.
Because I know, for me personally, if I don't get that, I'm gonna always, which I don't love to do, but
Right.
go to the Stop and Shop, get my water jug, and pump it.
It'll be broadcasted everywhere.
Okay.
Once that treatment plan is online and we have confirmation that everything's good to go, we will most certainly be letting everybody know.
Okay.
Definitely. That's a great question. Thank you.
It'll be business cards.
Yeah,
It'll
We
be
will
Little balloon on it.
the size of a penny.
That'll be.
Maybe we
money well
could,
spent.
maybe we could use
Absolutely.
pennies, tape things to pennies.
Well, now those are in shortfall too, obviously.
Oh, but I mean, they're going out, so just get rid of them all.
Yep.
If everybody has pennies, send them to the water department.
We'll send it.
Send the announcement
it
out on the
back.
pennies.
No, I mean, we are hurting, but we're doing our best to try to manage, balance it and be responsible.
So you're saying you want a really snowy winter?
Yes, we do. Even though it's not my favorite thing, but my daughter wants it, which, she'll be excited for, and everybody
All the
here at the
kids
water
love.
department would be, but
John's
The rest-
might not be.
yeah,
Rest
John
of
might
Rest of the town budget, not so crazy about
No.
a snowy winter.
Right, yeah. John's not gonna celebrate that.
Any other questions for Crystal? Barbara, anything?
No, Matt, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you very much, Crystal. You're very
Sure.
informative, as always.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Barbara.
Thank you for your time,
Yeah,
Crystal.
no problem. Thank you.
All right, we will now circle back to the top part of our budget, our agenda, status update from the town manager, town accountant on where things stand, any changes, any
No major changes.
new information.
No, it'll be a while before we really have any significant updates.
Didn't think there was gonna be anything at this point, but we have
I ask
to,
them every morning.
we
"Did
have
you
to-
find a pot of gold?"
we have to ask every time.
And I get the same answer every morning.
I think you might not be asking him every morning for much longer, so.
I'll be texting them.
So that takes us to our next topic of discussion. Our town manager is changing his status.
I thought you were gonna say like abandoning us or something.
I was looking for a delicate way of wording it. So Scott is going to be more concerned with the Kingston budget moving forward than the Abington budget. So we are going to be working with an interim town manager after Scott leaves.
Michael Maresco, he's actually going to be here next week. He was introduced today. He'll be shadowing me for the remainder of this month, and then I think, he'll be on his own in January. I think he's probably a candidate, and certainly well-versed in municipal budgeting, so.
And that you'll be leaving at the end of the month.
I will be here for however many more meetings you have this month. However, always available.
Which we appreciate. The Board of Selectmen, or the charter, dictates that a search committee be put together for the next town manager. It will include 7 members, 5 members from the public at large that anyone can send in an application to. Do those go to the Board of Selectmen?
I think there's already a link on the.
I think there is a link.
Yeah.
If you go to the abingtonma.org webpage, you'll find the link on there. .gov, sorry. Webpage, you'll find the link on there if you want to apply. I have already had one person reach out to me saying, "Hey, do you think I have a shot if I apply?" So, yes, and please
Everybody
do.
has.
Please do if you are interested.
Yes.
It will also include 1 member of the school committee at the choice of the school committee, and 1 member of the finance committee at the choice of the finance committee. So we need to figure out who from our committee is going to represent us. Could potentially be complicated by the fact that the last message that I saw from the select board said that they want the meetings to be preferably on weekdays during the day.
At the meeting this morning, that is obviously the preference by the select board. They do expect it to be, the meetings will be long meetings. If it's anything, you'll have a lot of applications that are gonna come in first. That'll have to be, you have to weed through them, and I think the preference is for them to do that in a day setting, so it would, it could be, a 9 to 4 type of thing. So a long day of weeding them through, and then when you do the interviews, again, sort of trying to do them back to back and get as many done as possible. So I think that, they were open to a Saturday if that's what it absolutely had to be, but what they're trying to encourage applicants is to realize it is going to be a lot of work. There will be some long days, but I think once they get through it, you'll, however many folks come in, and you weed them out and then have your interviews, it's done and then turned over to the select board.
That may be one of the weirdest things I've ever heard. Ever. People with jobs to come in between 9 and 4. That might be, honest to God, that's one of the most bananas things I've ever heard. So I would say whoever's given that as an argument or a possibility.
Maybe on a Saturday.
Saturday's fine. I'm just saying during a week, if it's a weekday, that's not, I mean, everybody here volunteers, I assume. I don't talk to everybody here, but I assume everybody here has a job, and that's bananas. So, they should.
Yeah, I would have been interested, but a 9 to 4
It's
during the
weird.
week, I couldn't do.
Yeah, it makes
Whoever
it,
came up with that as a thing is, it's not
I
the best way to do something.
I understand the amount of work that it's going to be. It definitely makes it difficult for people, a lot of people to arrange, so.
I think it's because, I think some of it is, I've been on the town manager search committee before, and it was, meetings were held in the evenings. However, we weren't under, maybe, I'm wondering if that decision is being made due to the time crunch and the, where we're at, in the budget process. I don't know if that may be some of the reasoning behind it. Just me thinking out loud.
Wait, what's the timing of this? How long will this go on? Is one.
And couldn't applications be reviewed?
Right.
I wouldn't get too into the weeds on this because I can't give you, nor can you make any decisions that are going to affect that right now. If you want to, reach out to the select board because they're the ones who are making those decisions. The other part of it is, get on the committee because I think it ultimately will be the makeup of that committee who's going to decide when they can actually meet. And if the majority of the committee says we're gonna have to do it on a Saturday, then, or we're going to have to try and stagger it, then so be it. But yeah, we can't, I can't give you the answers to.
If it was gonna be once a week for December during the day,
It will be in January.
it'd be in January.
Yeah, so I think the applications, it's posted on the MMA now. Applications will probably come in before the end of the year, and then maybe that first week in January. I think the whole impetus, the decisions, they were hoping to be finished with it by the end of January. So, and that it is because there is at the end of January, you're gonna have the numbers from the state, and I think at that point, Andrew's numbers are going to be done. The budget's really going to gel at that point, and you really wanna have somebody in here. So, it will be a lot of work, but it won't be for a long time. There'll be a few
Yeah.
days and then a few meetings.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get at. Thank you.
So,
Scott, just a question you may or may not be able to answer. I'm wondering if the conversation has gone around at all about not trying to press the time frame so much and using the interim town manager to get through this budget process. Has that been discussed?
I don't know the answer to that. I think, I really, I think you can do them at the same time. I think the interim is, like, again, he is very well versed in municipal budgeting. He was in Marshfield for many years. He'll hit the ground running. As far as I think it'll be seamless, but beyond that, I don't have any answers, no.
Maybe expensive.
Okay.
How was
Yeah.
the interim, like, how was he found, nominated? Like, is he just some guy we knew of somewhere?
Not me. I do know him. As I said, he has been a municipal manager for quite some time. He happens to be.
He was the town administrator in Marshfield
Marshfield.
for, I think, 7 or 8 years.
At least, I would say, yeah. And he happens to be available. Beyond that, I wasn't involved in.
From what I heard on the meeting this morning, Donovan said that he knew of him and made a phone call.
Kevin being a former town
Also a
administrator
former town
definitely
administrator.
has
Of Kingston, right?
connections.
Or, isn't he from Kingston too? Didn't he do? Or is he-
Kevin had been a town administrator in Kingston and Rockland. And actually, most recently, up until last week, he was interim town manager himself over in Hanson, while there was a vacancy, so. He's been around he was the director over at Tri-Town, when it was called Tri-Town. So, yeah, he's been around for quite some time in the business.
Can I ask a logistical question?
Yes.
Because I know, I just heard what you said, Chris. And so how does like this work budgetarily wise? Because I know we're in a tight budget year, so I assume, Scott, you're gonna continue to be paid throughout your time here through December.
I will be coming to work every day, too.
Yes, no, that makes sense to me, you know?
But just don't want to, but yeah, so.
Yes.
So in the interim, we'll also be paid on a part-time basis
Okay. In December?
throughout, throughout December. He's gonna be here a bit, but it'll really probably be a couple weeks.
Okay.
Because you get to the last 2 weeks of December and it's, Christmas, New Year's, half
Nobody's
days.
really working.
Yeah, so it's not going to be a huge expense, so. What's
I
that?
think nobody's really working.
Well, there's all sorts of
It's
like,
a lot of holidays.
A lot
There's
of holidays,
things.
like,
It's a lot of
like
people
that.
taking time off.
yes. I maybe wasn't.
It's a lot of
worded
people
correctly,
showing up to work but not doing anything.
I'd like to think not a lot of people doing that, but
I think that's
possible that we.
That's what Greg's scoffing was.
Well, maybe that's what happens at Magellan.
It definitely does not, no. No.
And,
And then come
But-
January, it will just be the interim.
okay,
So I'll no longer, there'll be no liabilities to me at all. So.
okay.
And then there'll probably be an overlap with the new person, right? For a minute at least?
Depending on,
So there'll be some overlap, 1, 2, 3
Could be
months, something
more
like that.
overlap.
A little bit of overlap at
Yeah.
each end.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Not an excessive amount.
I think that was what I was curious about.
I mean, it's not like we have a lot of
And
wiggle room,
how
but
much a interim, I know if if a nonprofit, you hire an interim executive director, they're more expensive than a full-time executive.
he's getting the
director.
rate that I get.
Hmm?
He's getting the same rate
Oh,
as
okay,
me.
yes, good. It's helpful, thank you. I was hoping to get less.
Yeah, again, but questions
That
that
would be too much. to expect.
That would be a question for the select board.
would be for
Yeah.
some, right?
So we need to determine an appointment from our committee. So I'm going to start by asking just to go around and say whether or not you're even interested in or capable of being on the committee, and I'm just going to go left to right, starting with that.
I don't have the time for it.
Are there any requirements? Are there any, or is it literally just whoever wants?
You meet all the requirements.
You're on the finance
I
committee.
bet I do.
You do.
I probably can't.
Chris? I'm taking Emily as a soft no.
That's generous.
My only problem is the end of January, I'm away.
Okay.
If that's why I was asking, if it was gonna happen in early January.
I think I think that the committee part, the search committee part would probably be done by mid-January. I think it's a short window, and then it'll be a selectman.
But the interviews, would this
I-
committee be involved in the interviews?
Only in the initial screening, and you'll screen them.
You'll get it down, the committee
whittle it
will
down to 2 or 3
whittle it
people.
down to 3 candidates who are presented to the select board. The select board will interview the 3 candidates and make a decision, and their decision could be none of the 3 and go back to the committee for more. But more likely than not, their decision will be one of the 3 people that they interview.
There'll be 2 select board members on the committee.
So
Yep.
I'm softer no.
Okay.
I wouldn't really want to, but given the timing of it, I look around at people with real jobs and I don't have them.
Yeah.
So
I'm-
we need somebody.
Yeah, I think I am personally a soft yes. I could possibly be able to finagle time off depending on when it is, but that's definitely a concern for me. Even the weekends are a concern because I coach 6th grade basketball girls, so. But I am an assistant coach, thankfully, so
Yeah,
I do
good
not
enough.
have full responsibility there. Barbara?
Yeah, I am interested. I just don't think that I, at this time, can take on the time commitment. However, Matt, I think you're a great candidate if you're able to swing it. And I could also, if needed.
This was a yes/no
I could
question.
be backup for somebody, but yeah, I'm a no.
Greg?
Can I opine for a second?
You can.
I think it is irresponsible to ask people to do something when they don't know when the meetings are gonna be. However that is set up, to ask anybody to do something when then nobody really has an idea is, you can't function in a business that way. You can't, I couldn't have joined this committee if I didn't know when this was happening. So until then, I would say no chance, because for me, but if somebody can really have an understanding and maybe have a little bit of respect for, you know, people that have jobs. And by the way, I learned that I want to be Chris when I grow up. So
say we all.
yeah, so I just think that's just not the way to do anything, not to really give people the full amount of information and then ask them to do something, so.
So I'm going to take that as a yes from Greg. Floyd?
No, I'll pass on this one.
Okay. So it looks like
Sounds like Matt.
Chris and I are the
Yeah.
available-ish.
What if it was on a Saturday?
Why are you looking at me?
Because Scott was looking at you.
No. We have 2 interested, mostly available parties.
I don't know about mostly available. I would say mostly not available, but would try to
Right,
make
yeah.
myself.
I'd be less likely on Saturday,
Right.
actually.
Yeah, I just don't, like resume screening happens ad hoc online, like.
Yeah, I do it at work all
That's
the
how
time.
I do, yeah, I mean, I don't know. So like 8-hour day of reviewing resumes in a room, like,
I think you probably weed it out.
I think
it's really the
I
interview
would,
day
I would,
that's gonna be the one.
yeah,
to-
I would hope that the resume reviewing happens prior to the meeting, and the meeting
Yeah.
is to discuss the resumes, and
And from what I'm gathering, especially since I just got a job offer, but there's probably not a lot of great candidates out there right now. I think it's very tough. I think town like this, you will get at least a half a dozen now. But I think that there's a lot of people who are just trying to enter the field or trying to move from something municipally. So, if you're looking for somebody who's like seasoned and has some good experience, you're probably gonna be right off the bat with maybe a half a dozen or so.
Scott, do you know if the ad's been placed yet for the position, if it's been posted? Is that all has to take place too?
I think that's all taking place
Yeah.
now. I know it is posted in the Beacon, the publication from the Mass Municipal Association, and that's where most managers will find it there. And as soon as it
Right.
hits that, it sort of spreads like wildfire anyways. But I think,
Okay.
I know that they are, wherever else it's gonna get posted, that'll happen this week.
Just my thinking, it's just, this is a tough time of year, I don't, yeah, just, okay.
Well, and there's a lot of competition out there right now. Mansfield is currently a very attractive community that is posted.
Very high commercial base there.
Yeah, and they're offering a very good package. Cohasset will be posting, Simon probably right now, is along with this. I want to say Norfolk, I was told was posted, and so there's several communities out there that are competitive right now, so I know there's a lot, but there's also a lot of interest. I know from the last municipal managers meeting I was at, there's probably 3 or 4 good quality candidates that are looking around, so.
Thoughts?
Yeah, like I said, I'm available during the day for the first 3 weeks of January right now.
That probably works.
Yeah, I think that might win the day.
Although I was hoping to get away even then.
But, you know, there also could be that you allow or people to take these things home and get them emailed to them, and at least for the beginning part of it. Again, I don't know the laws, right? So if there's a law that says you can't do it, I'm not saying to break the law. But if there isn't one, why you couldn't review and, you know, hold a meeting for an hour and then get everybody's opinion on a person or whatever. It's,
Or everyone just votes on every
Yeah,
resident.
exactly.
Yes, no, and then
yeah,
file them.
yeah.
Again, I can't help you with any of that.
No, I know.
It's too late.
However, it does sound,
Hopefully the selectmen watch this meeting.
Almost sounds like something we've done
did you watch the
before.
selectmen meeting?
Zero chance.
Okay, good. Well, if you watch this, if you do catch it, watch this morning's
Yeah.
meeting, and that'll give you some of the answers as far as the timelines and some of the questions you
Yeah, I
asked.
guess I'd rather.
It was pretty
not-
quick. They
I'd
run
rather
a
not
quick
do
meeting.
it, but we need to have somebody.
Well, if you would rather not, then I will take the bullet for the committee and I'll,
Ooh.
But if you,
I'll
if
go on
you
that.
find you need.
if I need to swap out, I'll let you know,
Yeah.
depending on what the schedule
Yeah.
ends up being, so. All right.
Thank you, gentlemen.
I like being idle.
You're my idol. I want to be shut down.
All right. So that concludes our regular business portion of the meeting. Any liaison reports? Barbara?
No, everything that I had for a report, Crystal spoke about tonight, so.
All right. We already discussed, we didn't check communication. There usually isn't any, but we'll check that next week. We have no meeting minutes currently to approve. Our next meeting is next Wednesday, the 10th. We will have 3 departments coming in. We will have golf, library, and the fire department. Are those all confirmed? And Andrew says they're all confirmed.
Put the library and the fire department on the same night, huh?
Golf and library are both
They-
on the.
No, I don't think it'll be a fun, I just think you'd probably be here till 9.
No,
Maybe later.
library does a good job of,
They're both very thorough.
they're thorough, but they present their budget well, and
They do.
there's not usually a lot of wiggle room for them.
And we've
So,
gone over some of the big things they need, right? So they don't, there isn't,
Actually, I
there
think-
really isn't anything on the
I think-
horizon.
No, I think actually both of them, the library is going to need AC unit to the tune of about $1 million, so that's not happening this year. But the fire, they're in good shape right now. They're not really looking for anything, I think. They've gotten everything.
I was gonna say,
really
they
need.
shouldn't be at this point.
Well, they
because
did,
they're in
and actually, Jack, he'll
They're
tell you.
in process of getting what they need.
Well, he also did a lot of, he did a lot of, to get things that, big ticket items within his budget, existing budget, that otherwise he would have asked for capital for and stuff, so he'll tell you all about it, I'm sure.
Yep.
that they've done some really good stuff to actually save a lot of money.
And golf, like water, is an enterprise department where their fees pay for their own budget, so it's pretty, and their revenues are usually well over their expenditures, so.
He had another banner year too, so it's great.
So,
Have you met with all the department heads?
Not all of them, we've been,
Most of them.
most of them, yeah. We still haven't, we meet with John Stone yet?
Yes, we have actually,
Okay.
but we usually wait until later in the,
Wait till he piles up some snow debt.
right, so we can talk about the snow and ice.
So Crystal wants him to pile up snow debt.
Yeah.
just gotta get water somehow.
Can it only snow on the,
Yeah.
Can we get
In the reservoir?
Isolated snow over
Oh, it
Hannigan?
snows so pretty on Christmas.
Maybe it'll be a rainy winter, not snow.
Well, the problem is the rain,
Freezes.
and it dissipates too fast. So that's what Crystal was saying, like, that's why she prefers, like, they need the snow. She said that the rain.
Because it melts slowly.
It- well, it just-
seeding.
It doesn't feed the reservoir as good as the snow does for some reason.
Or those black beads that go in the water?
sit on the clouds.
Prevents
The sunlight from
the
making it
sunlight from-
evaporate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put solar panels on the.
Matt, I just want to,
Yeah, Barbara.
She changed her mind. She wants to be in the
oh,
committee.
sorry, just want to put it out there before, no. Just before, while we were talking about the next meeting, the 17th, the meeting on the 17th, I will not be able to attend that meeting. So I just wanted to give you a heads up ahead of time.
As of right now, we don't have anyone scheduled for the 17th. If we don't end up with anyone scheduled, we will not meet on the 17th. So we'll see what happens in the
Okay.
next week or so on that. And I can guarantee you, we will not meet on the 24th or the 31st.
Sounds good. I also
So we don't
won't
want
want
to.
to be.
What was that, Ab?
I will not meet on 24th and the 31st.
Yep. So, that takes us to the end of our agenda. Is there anything else? Any topics, any motions?
Motion to adjourn.
There's a
I'll
motion to
second.
adjourn from Greg,
Second.
a second from Abby, a second from Barbara. Any discussion? Without any, all those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
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 All those opposed, abstaining, it is unanimous. We are adjourned. Thank you all for your time. We will see you next week.